All right. Hi, you guys. Good afternoon. I wanted to send you off to the weekend with a little bit of a useful, constructive exercise that I happen to know about that I have gotten a lot of benefit from. Just trying to balance my drink here. And hi, Marianne. How are you? And so, yeah, I wanted to share it with you to give you something really constructive and productive to work on as far as setting goals. Hey, Rick, how are you? And manifesting our ideals. And, in life coaching, we dig into what you want and, have to get all the limits and blocks from you actually achieving that and being able to attain that and be a match for that out of the way. And one of the things, that we know blocks people is fear. And unfortunately, most people walk around with some low level of fear going on in the background. And we talk about fear like, oh, fear, like we all know it so well. But honestly, a lot of us don't know it that well, because what it is it's hits you as a feeling, and it's like you block it and you don't want to go there. And the truth is that usually what we fear isn't that scary. It's not happening now. When something's happening, you're not usually afraid. It's like being in labor. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm in pain. Like you're in it, And so, there's acronyms for fear, like false expectations that appear real, but basically fear is more perceived and out of the moment. But it's even also just like we're slightly, at least a degree off of it or distance from it, because we have a sense of foreboding, or we have a sense of anxiety, or we have just kind of an intense wave that we label as negative, or it feels like doom, and we never really get to the core of what that is. And so a really phenomenal exercise, and I learned this from Tim Ferriss, and I'm probably not going to break it down exactly the way he does it, but is to get out your journal or take a piece of paper. And I know that the way that Tim Ferriss suggests to do it is to turn it sideways. And so when you're talking about all these ideas and goals that you want to create with your life and manifest, there's often an accompanying fear going on. Or is it like you have some idea of your possibilities and your potentials, but you don't even go there, because now that we're sitting down and actually addressing this and looking at this, you have a real palpable sense of fear and a big, obstruction to even considering that goal. And so fear setting is a take from goal setting, where you go through your goal, what do you want? And you ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? What is the worst possible outcome? What is the worst way that this could work out? So I'm going to give you guys a minute to do that. It's really cool, Marshall. I feel like I'm talking to you when I look up because I can see your picture. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that, to think about something that you really, really want, or basically, the biggest thing that you're trying to create in your life right now, your overall big goal. And then I want you to just feel into that and how important it is to you, and what are your really big fears, or what is, for you, the most fearful outcome? What could go wrong? And if you don't have your journal, if you're watching the replay, I would pause this and I would go get your journal and I would literally write this out. But if you don't have a journal with you right now, then just think about it. Think about, your ambition, your wildest aspirations, and, your overall driving force. And maybe that, can be expanded, and maybe that can be explored, and maybe I can support you in that. And that's fabulous and wonderful. But there is something that's guiding you and propelling you and giving you drive and ambition and desire and quite possibly frustration and anxiety right now. So what is that big thing? And why is it so fucking important? Sorry. Just the F expletive always seems so useful. Why is it so important to you? Why does it weigh on your heart so strong and so hard? Good afternoon, Lydia. Good to see you. And that's because, it's so important to you that you have a deep rooted, catastrophic, potentially fear associated with if this doesn't work. So maybe it's an inspired idea that you don't have the nerve to take, or maybe it's something that you're struggling with in life really hard. So in making 3 columns on your page, in the first column, what is the worst possible thing that could happen if this doesn't work out? So Lydia, since you're just joining us, or anyone who's just joining us, we're doing a fear setting exercise, which I learned about from Tim Ferriss, and it's like the other side of the coin of goal setting. And, everything has, more than one side, really, I think. But for us to really create and consider things in our life in a way that allows us to move forward and allows us to flow and allows us to be unblocked and allows us to have momentum being a snowball that at the top of a mountain is just a little block or ball, and then as it goes down the mountain, gains and gains and gains until it's unstoppable. So that's what we're all trying to uncover. And so there are some deeply rooted aspects that are worth delving into. So on the other side of the coin of goal setting, there's fear setting. What is the worst thing that could go wrong? Hi, Jason. So Jason, let's think about what is really driving you in your life right now, or what is a far off possibility that you would really get excited about achieving, but you won't even let yourself go there. And tell me, what's the worst thing? Yeah, totally. I agree with you, Lydia, and I've experienced it myself more and more. And you can share with me, if you want to share with me, what you're struggling with, what your goals are, what your fears are. You guys can definitely journal this into the comments. So Jason, what is the worst outcome? And where would you be in a year from now if it doesn't work out? So if you went for it, where would you be in a year from now if it doesn't work? So that's just another way to consider it. So let's write out our worst fears. Let's dig in, What is ultimately the thing that you're the most afraid of? So that's step 1. I want you to write that in your journal. I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. Get really honest with yourself. Get really centered with yourself. And see that. Write it out. See it in written form. See it as a visible, tangible manifestation or manifested thing, and look at it. And that takes a lot of power out of it right there. And that's why journaling is so powerful, or one of the many reasons. Another reason that journaling is so powerful is because you're using your mind and your creativity and your body. And that's why I really like to do it written with a pen and paper rather than on a device, but do whatever works for you. But it's more of a creative expression. It's more of an honest expression of your creativity and your life force when you unite, your creativity, your thoughts, your mind, and your body. And so that's the other reason journaling is powerful. And so, okay, so now hopefully in column 1, you've got your big fear. You've got your worst case scenario, and you're able to look at it, which may be the first time that you've actually recognized it for yourself. You've run from it, you've skirted it in conversations, you've danced around it, you've felt heart palpitations because it was near, but you never actually just looked at it and thought what it was. And so, yeah, it might be a really scary fear. It might be a really disastrous outcome, but it takes some power out of it to know and to face it and to see it written there. Does it not? And so we're going to carry it forward, and we're just going to say, and then what would happen? Or then what would you do? And let's write out 5 different things that you would do at that point. If that situation became a reality, if that situation became close to being a reality, you know, if you were really in those circumstances because you had gone for what you wanted or because your worst fear had come true, write down 5 things, then what would you do? I've got 2 Jasons. So if you're just hopping on, you might want to grab your journal and start from the beginning. But what we're doing is we're really getting in touch with our deepest fears, those that obstruct us from actually dreaming or achieving our goals. So come up with 5 things that you would do, 5 actions that you would take, 5 moves that you would make if that reality actually did take form. If you were really faced with that consequence or actually were living that consequence. Name 5 things that you would do and put that in the second column. Do I give you a little time to just kind of come up with some possibilities if you're just following along, or to scribble some down in your journal? And then we'll have the third column be, you know, what then what? What would happen next? Or if those if you took those actions, what actions would you take next? Or what do you think would be the outcome of those actions? Or you could write more actions. You could take the third column to write another 5 or 10 possibilities of what actions you would take. So now you know what you're afraid of, you know. So if you come tiptoeing up to it, you're going to know to back away, you know. So maybe it's not so close as you thought. Maybe danger isn't right around the corner. Maybe your goals aren't as big of a risk. When you look at that question of what will your life be like in a year from now if you keep following down this path of pursuing this goal, maybe it's not as rife with treacherous danger as your sympathetic nervous system sometimes wants you to think it is. And so this is just like a really good way of deconstructing and facing things that you didn't even really know about. And it turns out that in that process and in reality, that the energy and the intensity of those possibilities is really deconstructed by facing it, and because in truth, oh my God, that's not that scary, or in truth, I have all these options if that did happen, you know? So basically every day you're going to wake up and you're going to have choices, and you're going to have possibilities, and you're going to have action that you can take. And you can recognize by now that you're someone who kind of can rely on yourself to take action, to move away from unpleasant possibilities towards, you know, more preferred outcomes. You definitely at this point in your life have a sense that you can rely on yourself to do that, because that's just human, to like move away from pain and seek pleasure. So we're always, you know, and then we've got this human brain, which is really great for strategy. It's not really great for, well, it takes some strategy to deconstruct some of the things that the brain is also good for, which is sensing danger, which is just a constant thing that our brain is up to, is scanning for danger, is alerting you. Oh my God, you know, warning, 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 potential danger. Maybe, maybe not, but I just want to make sure you're covered. And, yeah, so what was I saying? That, we're always strategizing our way into a better future. And we reliably know that we've done that over and over again. And there's a lot of ways to work on that. Like Lydia was saying, you know, to really get the momentum going, to get out of hitting the same dead ends and get out of cycling and start to really spiral with some developing momentum towards the life that you want. So, on that note, I will mention that you can schedule with me and have a free consultation over the next week. I'll definitely be running all sorts of like offers and specials in the future, but those conversations, those initial coaching sessions are going to be, they're not going to be complimentary anymore unless it's like a special offer or a giveaway that I'm doing. So, right now they're free until next Friday. So let's see. Oh, no, mommy, no. My mom is texting me. And, anyway, you guys, does anybody have any questions? Was that useful? I hope that was useful. I hope that was a really, I really feel like this is, you know, it's not something you can necessarily even tell me the impact of by the end of this Facebook Live. But I love it. It's been really beneficial for me. And so I hope that it's beneficial for all of you. And I hope you all have a beautiful day, beautiful weekend. I hope things are winding down for you today and for the weekend. And so you have some time to take care of yourself and enjoy yourself. And so, you know, treat yourself to something special. Do something this weekend where you're really fully present and you just really savor every moment. And that is all for this afternoon. If no one else has any questions. Okay. Bye, you guys. Thanks for being here. Love you. Mwah.